You are about to listen to a live interview with Philip O'Connor. Philip lives in a ghost town in South Dakota, USA. Many of you have requested this interview, so out of the archives, Philip O'Connor returns.
Live from the studios of Barcelona, Spain, it's Slade Suiter, live on Authenticity Radio. It's a radio show about real people and real authentic talk. And now your host, who has the hospitality of a fat and jolly innkeeper, Slade Suiter.
Well, welcome. This is Slade Suiter of the Slade Suiter Show on Authenticity Radio. And today we have a special guest who is not a scary man, although he lives in a ghost town. His name is Philip O'Connor. And Philip, welcome. How are you?
Fine.
So tell me, I guess we should tell the public, everyone that's going to be listening to this, that Philip and I are actually related to each other. Are we cousins, Philip? Is that how it works?
I think you'd be second cousin, probably.
Okay, we are second cousins. And where are you located, Philip? Where do you live?
In South Dakota. Well, it's 50 miles west of Pierre, South Dakota. And of course, Pierre, or they call it Pierre in this, and
okay.
It's sort of isolated area. Big ranches and not too many people, per square mile or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And it's a semi-arid part of the country. Sometimes we have very hot, dry summers, and again we have lots of rain depending on how the storm patterns work. And sometimes we have terrible cold winters, and again we have almost summertime winters. Like last winter was a very nice winter, no snow, not much of anything.
Mm-hmm. What is the name of your town?
Capa, and that is called Capa. And the legend is that the railroad boxcars had the word capacity on them. And when you slid the doors open, then capacity became Capa City. And so that's where the Capa name comes from.
Capacity. Capa City. Wow! I did not know that. That is capacity. And so right now, how many people are living in Capa City right now?
Just me.
Just you.
Just one person.
And do you like living there?
Oh yes, it's nice. I like the quiet, and it's you're a little bit independent. You don't have real close neighbors that you might not get along with or something. Mm-hmm. But anyway, and I'm used to that type of existence anyway. So
I suppose you're the mayor in Capa.
I did about the fire chief and the mayor and all sorts of things.
So you're also the policeman, sheriff.
Yeah, I could be the chief of police too, I guess. Yeah.
Whatever you want to. And elections are fast, and decision making is almost instantaneous, isn't it?
Yes. Anything like voting or anything would be for the school or anything would be 10 miles west to Midland, town of Midland, and then but nothing here anymore. And
that's the closest city to you is Midland. And not too long ago, you were taking care of some cattle.
Yes, I've got not very many cattle. There's 7 head. I had it. Some of the cattle get too old, and they passed away on me last summer. A couple of my cows. Mm-hmm. Person has to stay fairly young with the cattle to keep them reproducing.
Mm-hmm. And you're fairly young, Philip.
Yeah, I was 76 just a few days ago. Yeah.
76. Wow. And you're living by yourself in the middle of absolute nowhere.
It's considered a ghost town, but there's a lot of traffic goes by a lot because of all the big ranchers, farmers. They have a lot of equipment that moves and trucks and so on.
Does everyone know you out there?
Quite a few know me. I think some know me that I don't know because someone tells them about who I am and so on going by or something, But most, I know the older timers that have been here so long that And if you've been in a place quite a long time, a lot of people know who you are, too.
Do you ever get lonely out there?
No, there's always reading, and then there's the church on the weekends and so on. You get some sort of, mixing with other people some.
Mm-hmm. So you stay active.
Yeah, to the church. And then Philip's another town that's 35 miles west, medicine and doctoring and so on. So you meet with people quite a bit. Now,
I understand that the BBC came out and did a documentary on your place.
Yes, that was it's a worldwide thing, and they sent me a disc about it, but they show me talking and everything. But it's quite a disc to have because it's quite a thing that they did to go around the world, different people in different parts of the world. Now, they sent 9 men, I think it was, some from London, England, to interview.
Now, I just want to tell the people that are listening, Philip, that you, Philip, have a very good memory, and you've always were able to surprise me. For example, I would ask, on June 22nd, 1966 is my birthday. What happened on June 22nd?
Well, if you go back to this is 1941, that was when Hitler invaded Russia. Mm-hmm. And I think Napoleon did that too, about 75 years older when he invaded Russia on that same day. Hitler called it Operation Barbarossa. Mm-hmm. And of course they both got into that Russian winter and had a terrible time getting back out, because it was an absolute disaster, before they were through with it.
So for my next birthday, I just don't want to invade Russia.
No, you wouldn't want to try that, not unless you have winter uniforms and a better supply line and everything.
Oh, Philip, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Now, since the trains have been coming through on that rail line, do you still have any trains that travel that line?
Yeah, in 2007, Canadian Pacific bought out Dakota, Minnesota, and Eastern Railroad for $1.5 billion. And the Canadian Pacific goes clear across the Canadian continent from east to west, and they want to go across the United States from east to west also. So they're expanding all the time. They go as far as from here to Chicago. They're out in Wyoming, where there's a lot of coal fields, and they're trying to buy more lines to expand further west and further east. They own that, but some of their diesels go by, so they bought up quite a few railroad companies. So
you do have an occasional train that passes by on that track?
Yeah, there's one going by right now going east, and one goes east they're kind of empty because they're full of all kinds of things, gravel and wheat and cement and wood, and then they kind of deadhead back west, empty, and then they load up again and then come back east again. So, but they go twice a day. It depends whenever they get a train made up. Sometimes they go in the night, but they go about 5 hours apart. Place, though, 20 miles east where they have a side track and they can meet and pass each other, about a mile long that they can...
Okay. So there's a place where one train actually takes off the track, and then the other train going the opposing direction passes, and then
they call that a saw-by in railroad terminology. One can wait for the other one to go past, and then they can come on out on the track. Then
saw-by. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break with Philip O'Connor, and we'll be right back.
You are tuned into Slade Suiter Live on Authenticity Radio. Visit us on the web, www.authenticityradio.com.
We are with Philip O'Connor from Capa, and we continue the program. Okay, and I remember up in your neck of the woods, you seem to have a few rattlesnakes. Is that true?
Yeah, it's kind of that's semi-arid climate. A lot of rattlesnakes, and then there's what they call prairie dogs. They're like a squirrel, except they dig in the ground, and they're a nuisance too because they eat up the grass, and then horses or cows, if they're running or something, could step in them and break a leg. but they're hard to get rid of too because they're very hard to hit shooting at them. And then they kick the pups out and during the summer, and then they start out new holes again, so they keep spreading all the time. So that's kind of a blight to the country, but always something. Every place has a drawback. Probably the prairie dogs are worse than the rattlesnakes as far as that goes, except they couldn't kill you when they bite you like a rattlesnake can.
Now, did you ever have to confront a rattlesnake?
Well, one time I stepped on one, and he was waving his head beside my right knee, He didn't, for some reason, didn't bite me. I don't know why he didn't bite me, but he didn't. And then I stepped off of him, and the dog killed him by shaking him. And then a time or two, I stepped over them, not thinking of them, and never happened to get bit by one.
Okay, so
but you should be thinking of them all the time, and sometimes I don't, and that's what's risky business. They hide in the grass sometimes. They will get away from you if they can. They don't want anything to do with you. So I suppose the ground vibration, they'll try to get away, or whatever it is. But sometimes they do try to warn you too. They shake the rattle, and you know they're there.
Okay, and so what buildings do you still have standing in your town?
There's the old Catholic church and the old grade school, high school building, the hotel building, a barn, and a little house that a man, he was, must have come from Switzerland, and it's a little Swiss chalet house, and he kept it whitewashed when he was alive, and had goats for pets, and did butcher some of them, and he liked the goat milk and the goat cheese he could make from the milk. So there's about 7 buildings still standing.
So I heard that the hotel has hot water.
Yeah, the railroads, when they came up from Fort Pierre through here, through Capa, there was every 10 miles they stopped and establish a town. And then we put in what they call section men to keep the sections of the track repaired. But they had the locomotives, the steam-driven locomotives, so they had to stop every 20 miles and put water in them again to keep them going. And then they had to put coal in them also. But so they would dig what they called artesian wells. They were down several thousand feet, and it was very deep in the ground. And then it was hot. The water was hot because in the ground so far. Then there was gas in the water, and that gas would bring the water up, and then they could run it into a tank, and then from the tank pour it into the what they call the tender behind the locomotive. And so that water is still coming up. The well was dug in 1904, and it's still flowing, and it has a lot of minerals in it, and it's good for rheumatism and things like that because it has so many healing powers to it.
Wow, Philip, I did not know that either. Do you take advantage of that water?
Yeah, it's nice to use. My brother likes to drink it even. It doesn't taste too good, but it doesn't hurt you when you drink it. And it might be good to drink it too, just for the minerals in it and so on. But there was Fort Pierre, then there was what they called Pete Town. That was named after the Teton Indians that met Lewis and Clark in 1804 at Fort Pierre. And then there was Went, named after some man named Went, and then there was Van Meter, named after a man named Van Meter, then there was Capa, then there was Midland, and then they went on west to Midland every 10 miles to Rapid City. And it took about 3 or 4 years to build it, back from 1900 to about 1906, when they got the line finished.
Wow, Philip. You are like a living encyclopedia.
Well, that's the local, and I did give a talk about it last year, too, so that's what I know a little bit more about it than I might have otherwise.
Here's a question for you, Philip. If there is something, now pretend that the entire world is listening right now, what would you say to the world? What piece of advice, what would you want to share with the world?
It passes by pretty quickly in this world.
So life is passing.
Yeah, and then things change too. Well, remember that our time on earth is made to try to get into heaven. We should live as good a lives as we can and live our lives to please God.
Thank you, Philip.
Yeah.
Thank you for this interview. And thank you for sharing your wisdom, your